Again, good morning and welcome to our Cyber Essentials webinar, everyone. Great to see such a great turnout for a subject we are so passionate about. During the next 20 minutes, we will be introducing you to the importance of cyber security, talk about the benefits of certification, but more importantly, show you the 5 core controls that need to be looked at to secure your business against the most common cyber threats. Firstly, a quick bit of housekeeping. All attendees are on mute to help with any feedback, and cameras are disabled for your privacy. Your details are hidden from each other for security and GDPR reasons. However, at the end of the webinar, there will be an opportunity to have some Q&As should you have any questions. We would like to just do a couple of quick introductions first. Myself, I'm Mark Derrigan, MD of Red Door IT. I've been in the IT industry since the early 1990s, and I've been involved in all aspects of networking, services, support, security during that period. In the mid-90s, I was actually involved in building one of the first ISPs in the UK and delivered the very first ADSL circuits to the local businesses in Croydon. I started Red Door in 2010 to introduce a new way of approaching IT support, the proactive approach rather than the existing reactive model. And this has become the cornerstone for our business, along with the customer service experience.
I'm a technical director and cybersecurity advisor for Red Door IT. I joined the team from the very start and have been coming up to 25 years experience in the industry, all the way from my apprenticeship to where I am now. I have several qualifications within the IT technical arena, and most recently become cybersecurity assessor qualified via the ISME scheme.
So who are Red Door IT? As I previously touched on, we are a leading provider of flexible and tailored IT services, support and cybersecurity in and around the London area. Putting customer service at the forefront of what we do, we help companies of all sizes find the right IT solutions so they can flourish without the worry of dealing with the systems in-house. We introduced the Cyber Advisor brand last year to help businesses really focus on the cybersecurity aspect of their IT. Our primary mission within Cyber Advisor is to assist you in achieving and maintaining Cyber Essential certification by providing industry-leading managed services and training. Our business mantra is based around the 3 T pillars, these being testing, effectively testing of your existing systems by auditing the current setup, which will then highlight all the current vulnerabilities. These can then be removed or current systems bolstered with technology. Our second T pillar. This is met by supplying hand-picked managed software that can sit alongside or replace your existing systems. An example of this being domain name system filtering. This gives your business an extra layer of defense by preventing employees from accessing dangerous websites or linking to them from dangerous emails, such as phishing emails. Which brings us to our main pillar, training, which we believe is the most important. With phishing scams making up over 90% of all cybercrime, the software can only do so much. There's no point having all the alarms, cameras, security gates at your house if you often forget to arm or close them all. We provide easy to consume training videos, infograph, and other materials to train your staff to spot these threats. Fraud is now the UK's #1 crime. The government recently completed a survey and estimated that UK businesses have experienced approximately 8 million cybercrimes in the last 12 months alone. In that period, 50% of all businesses reported a cyber attack. And as I said, phishing is by far the most common. The main issue is the threats don't stay the same. They adapt and change. So we all need a robust cybersecurity system. So what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is the means by which businesses and individuals reduce the risk of being affected by cybercrime. Its core function is to protect the devices we all use, smartphones, laptops, tablets, computers, and so on, and also the services we access online, both at work and at home. It's also about preventing unauthorized access to the vast amounts of information we store on these devices and online. A cyber attack is an attempt to damage, disrupt, or gain unauthorized access to computer systems, networks, devices, or your data. There are many types of cyber attacks, but the most prevalent, as you can see in the graph, are phishing, malware, BEC, and ransomware. I'll just quickly explain what these are. Phishing attacks use scam emails or text messages that contain links to websites which contain malware that is installed on your device, or trick users into revealing sensitive information such as your password or your account information, or directly transferring money. Cyber attackers use harmful software such as spyware, viruses, ransomware, and worms, known as malware, to access your system's data. When you click on the malicious attachment or link, the malware can install itself and become active on your device, giving the attacker access to all your data. Business email compromise is a form of phishing, where a criminal attempts to trick a senior executive or the accounts department, for example, into transferring funds or revealing sensitive information. Ransomware is a malicious software that cyber attackers install on your device, allowing them to block your access until you pay the attacker's ransom. However, paying the ransom doesn't guarantee the removal of the software nor access to your data. And so experts generally advise not to pay the ransom. It is much preferable to restore from a previous backup where possible, as generally once you pay the ransom, they will continue to target you. So what is Cyber Essentials and how does it help your business? Cyber Essentials is a government-backed, industry-supported scheme designed to help businesses protect themselves against the most common online threats. It provides a set of 5 basic control principles that you should have in place to enhance your cyber security. By obtaining Cyber Essentials certification, businesses showcase their commitment to safeguarding sensitive data and mitigating cyber threats. Implementing Cyber Essential controls helps protect against 80% of the most common cyber attacks immediately. Customers and partners gain peace of mind knowing that your business takes cybersecurity seriously. Cyber Essential certification reassures your customers, suppliers, and partners that your business is proactive in protecting the information you hold on them. It builds trust and fosters stronger relationships by them knowing you take cyber security seriously. Many government projects and contracts now require suppliers to hold an up-to-date Cyber Essential certificate. It is widely believed that insurance companies will shortly start requesting businesses obtain certification to have any type of cyber security cover in place, or premiums will increase without it. Also, your business continuity improves with cybersecurity measures and ensures smooth operations. Cyber attacks, as you know, can be financially devastating. Certificates help prevent costly consequences by reducing these risks. Cyber Essentials is suitable for businesses of any size and across all sectors. Even the smallest businesses with limited IT expertise can achieve the certification with the correct services. Cyber Essentials is a self-assessment option which gives you protection against around 80% of the most common cyber attacks. This is important because vulnerability to basic attacks can mark you out as a target for more in-depth and unwanted attention from cyber criminals. Certification gives you peace of mind that your defenses will protect you against the most common threats simply because these attackers are looking for targets which do not have the Cyber Essentials controls in place. Using the analogy from earlier, if a burglar walks down a road, they are more likely to try and gain entry to a house with no security. So to recap, we liken it to an MOT. Cyber Essentials is like MOTing your own car at home. Cyber Essentials Plus is like taking the car to a garage to check it is all correct. In the following section, we will talk about the critical 5 categories of Cyber Essentials. I'll hand over to Barry. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks, Mark. So just before we get onto the 5 controls, we need to work out what devices are included in the scope for Cyber Essentials. In basic terms, you should include anything that has access to your company data, whether that be PCs, laptops, servers, mobiles, and any cloud services that you use. Part of this process, you'll need to show the operating systems and versions of these devices. An asset management system can help keep track of these, but it's not essential. So first up, we've got secure configuration. So all devices should be configured correctly for their business needs. So for example, making sure unneeded software is removed, including removing default and local users. Also, we need to make sure that all default passwords are changed from their original state. Next up, we've got firewall. So a firewall is a way of controlling the flow of data in and out of the device. So this can either be done by software on the machine or hardware. So your internet router would be a hardware firewall, for example. A firewall is like shutting and opening doors to your business. So it's really important to keep them closed to help restrict access. As with the devices, it's also really important to make sure that any default passwords are changed for your firewalls and access to the settings page is restricted. Access control, or in other terms, passwords. So these should be nice and strong, ideally a minimum length of 12 characters. So obviously 12 characters is quite long, so it's quite difficult to remember. So a good method to use is to use 3 short words. So you can pick 3 words that are meaningful to you and incorporate them into a password. So this will give you quite a nice long password, also keeps it easy for you to remember. MFA is another really important step. So MFA is multi-factor authentication. So you might be aware of this for using something like your bank or maybe like PayPal. So it's effectively a second form of authentication. So for example, when you go to log in, you'll enter your username, your password, then you'll either get a code sent to your phone via text message, or you may have an app that generates a code that you have to input before you can access the service. This is really, really important and does stop a lot of attacks coming through. So definitely make sure that MFA is enabled. Moving on to access control. So access control is making sure that users only have access to data they need to do their job. So really important to make sure they don't have access to HR or payroll if they're not involved in that part of the business. Another really, really important part of this is administrator access or admins. So we need to make sure that no users are logging into devices as administrators. So it doesn't matter if you're the business owner or just the apprentice, you can't be logging in with local admin access. Example of this is you may receive an email, seems all fine, it's got an Excel attachment. Try and open up the Excel attachment, and in the background, it could try and install a malicious code or install a bit of software. If you are a local admin, this would install without your knowledge and then lead to problems. If you're not an admin, you will get a prompt coming up asking for a username and password, which would then make you think twice. You might have to contact someone to input these details. So hopefully you'll be able to catch something before it happens. So that's really important. Another step of access control is leavers. So we need to make sure that as soon as somebody leaves the business, they are removed as soon as possible from anything they have access to, whether that's servers, PCs, cloud services, VPNs, etc. Moving on to patch management. So patch management is the term used for updating software, specifically to plug or close a weakness found within the software, as these weaknesses can be exploited by cyber criminals. So all software needs to be patched within 14 days of release by the manufacturer. Also need to make sure the software in use is still supported by the manufacturer, which means they'll be making security updates. So a good example of this is Windows. So usually when a newer version of Windows comes out, the older versions will become end of life. So that basically means that Microsoft, in this example, will not be releasing any security updates when they find any holes or any flaws. So again, these can then be exploited by cyber criminals. Having auto update switched on is generally an okay way to manage these. So make sure all devices, whether it's a Mac, whether it's Windows, your phones, iPhone, Android, are all set to auto update. You can obviously do this with a centrally managed patch management system, but you can just do it by having them make sure they're all switched on. Moving on again, we've got malware protection. So malware protection is basically virus protection. So this is a bit of software that will sit on your device and it will help block or remove any viruses if it detects any. So again, it's really important to make sure that this is on, and also to make sure that users don't have access to disable or change any of the settings. This goes back to the previous point about being admins. If the users are not local admins, they're not going to be able to change these settings. So summary, there's 5 different sets of controls. Implementing some of these is a great step, but not, it doesn't cover everything. Ideally, you want to put all 5 of these in place to give you a much stronger system overall. So with that, I'm just going to hand you back to Mark, who's going to continue the rest of the webinar. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Barry. That's great information, much appreciated. So the next question is, how do you go about achieving the Cyber Essentials certification? To get you started, there is a free online check-in tool on the Cyber Advisor website. I'll share this link with you later in a follow-up email. Firstly, you'll need to evaluate your business's existing security controls and identify the gaps and areas for improvement. Cyber Essentials focuses on essential security practices, as Barry discussed, such as patch management, secure configuration, access control. These will all need to be implemented. And then by visiting the Cyber Advisor website again to apply for the certificate, this is then verified by a certified body that is authorised by IASME, who are the delivery partner of the government branch, the National Cyber Security Centre. The process is straightforward and very affordable. Once you are certified, you are listed as holding this certification on the NCS website. Certification starts at £320 per year for a micro business, up to a maximum of £600 for a large company. And if you have some technical knowledge, this can be applied for by yourself. However, should you need help, we offer a fully managed service to assist in implementing these controls and achieving the certification. We charge £495 for that service. Excuse me, sorry. After the meeting, I'll send you an email with a handy checklist to start you on your Cyber Essentials journey, and a free handout information sheet regarding phishing attacks to send to all your staff and anyone you think it may help. In summary, Cyber Essentials certification is not just a checkbox, it's a strategic move that enhances security, builds trust with your customers and suppliers, and opens doors to new business opportunities. So let's prioritise cybersecurity and protect our businesses. Thank you for your attention. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. If you have one, please use the Q&A function on the screen, or feel free to reach out to us afterwards. I'm just going to put the Q&A on. Should be on the top if anyone has a question. John has a quick question. Thanks, John. Why would anyone attack me? I'm only a small business. Well, John, cyber attackers don't actually target any particular businesses. They send out blanket emails to millions of companies at one go. And it's only when you respond or you become when you follow one of the links or put your details in, then you become more of a target, because they know you're susceptible to those type of attacks. So it really is important that any businesses of all sizes, all staff, all are fully trained and are covered by it. I hope that answers your question, John. Thank you very much. Any other questions from anybody? No, I think that's it. Well, as I said, if you think of anything afterwards, please don't hesitate to drop us an email. happy to, or phone me or Barry or any one of our team. We'll help you as much as we can. Once again, thank you for attending our webinar. If you take anything from today, please look at the documents I send you in the email after. Train the staff as much as possible and make sure your device is all up to date and enable MFA across all the services you access, both internally and externally. If you know anyone that would also benefit, please do send them our details or forward them the email with the training info sheet to help them train their staff as well. As I said, I will be in contact shortly and send you the documents I mentioned. Have a great day and thank you again for attending the webinar. Hope to speak to you all soon. Thank you.